Have you ever wondered why the smallest acts of kindness matter so much in the eyes of the divine? Why withholding a simple smile, a morsel of food, or a gentle word can weigh heavier on the scale of the unseen than great displays of worship? Surah Al-Maun is not just about charity. It is a mirror that reveals whether the heart is alive with compassion or dead beneath the cloak of ritual. It is as if Allah Himself asks every soul, have you truly seen the one who denies the religion? Or are you that one? Verse 1. Have you seen the one who denies the religion? The surah opens not with a statement, but with a question. Have you seen? Allah is speaking to the beloved prophet, but through him he speaks to every heart that claims faith. It is not merely a vision of the eyes, it is a vision of insight, basira, that penetrates through appearances. To see in Sufi understanding means to witness with the inner eye, to observe beyond the surface. So the divine asks, have you witnessed the one who, though perhaps he prays and fasts, denies the essence of the religion, which is love, mercy, and truth? Denial here is not just disbelief in the day of judgment. It is the denial of accountability before the beloved. The blindness to the inner reality that every act, every intention, and every moment is being recorded upon the tablet of the heart. A Sufi would say, the one who denies deen is not only the one who rejects the name of Islam, but also the one who lives as if there is no moral order, no spiritual consequence, no inner awakening. Verse 2, then that is the one who repulses the orphan. Look closely. The verse does not say who neglects the orphan, but who repulses him. The Arabic word yadu carries the sense of pushing away harshly, as if to shove the vulnerable out of sight, out of mind. In the outer meaning, it is a condemnation of social cruelty, of turning one's back on those who have no protection, no family, no voice. In the inner meaning, it speaks to a spiritual orphan, the part of ourselves or others that feels cut off from divine nurture. Every soul has within it a yatim, an orphan self that yearns for the warmth of God's love. When we scorn the weak, mock the seeker, or suppress the innocence within us, we are repulsing that inner orphan, and thus we deny the very religion we claim to follow. The Sufi reads this verse and trembles, for he knows the orphan is not only the child on the street, but the heart deprived of remembrance. Verse 3, and does not encourage the feeding of the poor. Notice, it does not merely say, he does not feed the poor. It says, he does not even encourage it. This unveils a deeper neglect, a coldness of spirit. The one who denies faith not only withholds his own hand, but extinguishes the light of generosity in others. He sees hunger and feels nothing. He hears the cry of need and remains unmoved. In Sufi understanding, the feeding of the needy is both physical and spiritual. It is to nourish those who hunger for bread and those who hunger for meaning. How many today are starving, not for food, but for love, for truth, for connection to the divine? The true believer is one whose presence feeds souls. His words, his silence, his gaze, all are nourishment to those around him. To fail to encourage that, even silently, is to cut the flow of mercy that circulates through creation. Verse 4, so woe to those who pray. Here comes the verse that shakes the heavens and hearts alike. Woe to those who pray. How can prayer, the pillar of the faith, become a cause for ruin? The Sufi pauses and understands. Allah does not condemn the act of prayer, but the emptiness within it. Those who move their bodies but not their hearts. Those who bow before the altar but not before the truth. Those whose tongues recite His name, but whose hearts are deaf to His presence. Woe is not just a curse. It is a cry of divine sorrow, as if the beloved mourns those who approach Him in form, but not in spirit. They stand before Him 5 times a day, yet remain absent. They utter His words, yet never taste their sweetness. The outer prayer without inner surrender is like a body without a soul. It stands, it bows, It prostrates, but it does not live. Verse 5. Those who are heedless of their prayer. Heedlessness is not that they forget to pray, but that they forget within the prayer. Their tongues move, but their hearts wander. They say Allahu Akbar, yet their thoughts are about the world. They kneel, yet their ego stands tall. This heedlessness is the root of all spiritual decay. The Sufis weep over it more than over sin, for it is the death of presence, the separation of the lover from the beloved while appearing near. In the outer sense, it warns against laziness and distraction. In the inner sense, it calls the soul back to presence to make each prayer a moment of union, a whisper between the created and the Creator. True prayer is not only said with lips, but heard by the heart. It is not performed, it is lived. Verse 6. Those who make show of their deeds. They worship for the eyes of people, not for the gaze of God. Their prayers are polished performances. Their charity is an exhibition. Their piety is an advertisement. But Allah does not look at forms. He looks at hearts. In the Sufi path, Riyah, showing off, is one of the greatest veils between the soul and the beloved. It is the subtle poison of the ego, disguising pride as devotion. The Sufis say, when you seek to be seen by others, you become blind to the one who truly sees. A single tear shed in secret for God's sake outweighs mountains of public virtue. Thus the verse is not only a warning, but a call. Return to sincerity. Worship as if unseen, for the one who sees all. Verse 7. And withhold small kindnesses. Here lies the heart of the surah, the verse that gives it its name. Al-Maun, the small acts of kindness, the ordinary courtesies, the little gestures that sustain the weave of human compassion. They refuse to lend a hand, a smile, a cup, a moment. They block the simplest flow of goodness. In Sufi symbolism, al-Ma'un also means the spiritual kindnesses, the sharing of light, the giving of advice, the warmth of companionship, the prayer for others. The one who denies these is one whose heart has grown dry, for he cannot give water when his own well has turned to dust. The verse tells us, faith is not proven in the grand. It is proven in the small. Not in how long you pray, but how gently you speak. Not in how much you give, but how kindly you give it. Not in lofty words, but in quiet mercy. It is in the Maun, the little things, that the great truth of religion is revealed. The inner thread, from start to end. If we read the surah as a mirror to the soul, have you seen the one who denies the religion, the blindness of the heart, who repulses the orphan, the rejection of innocence and compassion, and does not encourage feeding the poor, the drying of empathy? So woe to those who pray, the outer ritual without inner life, those who are heedless of their prayer, the absence of awareness, those who make show of deeds, the dominance of ego, and withhold small kindnesses, the death of the heart. Each verse descends deeper, from denial of faith to cruelty, to negligence, to hypocrisy, to the final corrosion of the soul, a heart incapable of kindness. The journey of the surah is the journey of disconnection, from God, from people, from self. And the cure lies in its reversal, reawaken the heart. Be gentle with the orphan, within and without. Feed the hungry, in body and in spirit. Pray with presence, act with sincerity. Never withhold kindness, for it is the breath of the divine within you, the hidden message to the beloved. When Allah says one, have you seen? It is as if He shows His beloved, the image of a soul lost in the desert of heedlessness, not to condemn, but to awaken compassion in the Prophet's heart for such people. For the Prophet was sent as a mercy to the worlds. The Sufis say, the surah is not merely a warning, it is a mirror of mercy. For only the merciful would reveal the diseases of the heart, that we might seek their cure. Closing reflection. The whisper of the heart. Every verse of this surah is a question to you and me. Have you seen the one who denies the religion? Or have you seen yourself? Do you pray with your lips or with your soul? Do you give or do you give only to be seen? Do you feed others or only yourself? Do you remember that the smallest kindness, a word, a glance, a crumb, may open a gate in heaven? For in the ocean of divine love, no act is small. Every kindness ripples through eternity. Call to the soul, the invitation. So as you finish hearing these words, pause. Ask your heart, have I become heedless of my prayer? Have I repulsed the orphan within me? Have I withheld the small kindness that could heal another's pain? Begin today with a single act, a word of comfort, a smile, a prayer whispered for someone in secret. That is your Maun, your small kindness, and in it may lie your salvation. Because the true religion, as the Sufis say, is not in grand gestures, but in the gentle presence of love. If you felt these words touch something within you, share this light, not to gain views, but to awaken hearts. For maybe through a single act of kindness, the mercy of this surah will live again through you.